Are you looking to get WordPress up and running quickly and on a budget? Why not use AWS Lightsail? In this video, we'll go over creating the WordPress website, creating and changing the necessary DNS records, and then distributing that website using Amazon's Cloudfront service. Okay, let's get started. First step is logging into the console. If you haven't already created an AWS account, you can do that here. So let's go ahead and sign in. Okay, once we get signed in, then we need to, actually first, let's go to the right region here. So I'm defaulted to Oregon, but you want to make sure that whatever region you're closest to, you want to go ahead and select that one. And then click under, you can click on Services. You can just type that in here. Click on LightSail. And this is the LightSail portal here. So the first thing we need to do, we need to create an instance. So let's click on this Create Instance button here. And you'll notice it's got Virginia up here. I don't want to be in Virginia, so let's make sure that's the right region. So click on Oregon here. And I'll just leave it 2A, that's fine. And then you can pick which OS you want and then whatever app that you're going to be using down here. So we're going to be using Linux and WordPress, which is already selected. And then down here at the bottom, you'll see choose your instance plan. I'm going to go with the cheapest one here. This is a demonstration. I'm doing a demo, so I'm not going to be doing a snapshot, but I would definitely enable this if this is a production environment to enable automatic snapshots. Okay, so this is already selected here, and then you need to give your instance a name. Let's just call it demo. And we're going to create the instance. So I'm going to pause the video. This is pending. We'll wait till this is created. Okay, as you can see, our instance is now running. It took about a minute for it to come back up. So now that we have the instance created, we need to create a static IP address. It does have a WAN IP in here, but it's not static. So we need to go to networking and create static IP. And we're going to choose our instance right there, and then just need to give it a name. Static IP. All right, now that we have a static IP, we need to change some DNS records. All right, so let's get back to home. And we're going to go back to networking again. And this time we're going to create a DNS zone. Now I need to enter the domain we're going to use. So I have several domains that are all registered with GoDaddy, but we can change the name servers on GoDaddy so we can actually manage those DNS records here under LightSail. So I'm going to go ahead and type in one here now. All right. And create the DNS zone. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to replace the name servers for this domain on GoDaddy with the ones down here. So let me go over to GoDaddy. Okay, so now that I've logged into GoDaddy, pulled up the domain, I'm down here in the name server section here. I need to hit change so we can change the name servers. And let's go back over here to our name servers, our zone. So we're going to copy these here. Yes, I want to do this. Continue. So it's going to take a while, but it's going to allow us to manage this domain from Lightsail. So I'm going to put it on pause. We're going to wait a few minutes or however long it takes to propagate over. Okay, while we're waiting for that to propagate, we can always add the records that we need to the DNS Zone in Lightsail. So let's go back and do that. Let's go to home. So let's go to networking, and we'll go to our DNS Zone here and add record. It's going to be an A record, and we'll do it for the entire domain. And resolves to, it's the WAN IP address that we set up earlier, and we'll save that. And then we'll add another one, another A record, www, and then same WAN IP. All right, so those are saved. Now we just need to wait until these name servers get updated. So we'll pause the video here. Okay, after waiting a few minutes, I refresh. As you can see, it recognizes that the DNS name servers have changed and that the records aren't managed by GoDaddy anymore. But we're still waiting on these records, these A records that we created earlier, to propagate. So we'll pause it again and wait a few more minutes. Okay, we finally got our DNS records updated. One way to test this is by going to a website called mxtoolbox.com. And then once you get in here, just click on DNS lookup. And then we'll go ahead and type in the domain name here. It comes up. Here we go. And then there we go. There's the WAN IP that we assigned in Lightsail. So now if we go to this website, it should come up. Just copy this here. There's a WordPress website and default page. So now we know that the DNS records work. We know that WordPress works. Now we have to change this so it's a secure website. All right, let's go back over to the portal here and go back to home just to reset. And then we're going to open up a terminal window here by hitting this little button right here. So let's open that up. Okay, now the terminal window's open. Now we can go in and we need to run a command. And I'm going to put a note in the description with all these websites I went to grab these commands so you have them. All right, so we're going to run this BNC cert tool first. This is going to generate a certificate so we can run this thing on HTTPS. And there's an update, so we'll say yes. I need to run it again. All right, so we're going to put in our domain list here, and we're going to put in tech board and Yes, we want to redirect from HTTP to HTTPS. And we do want to do this as well. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to say no. And let's see, changes look good. So I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to type in my email address. And yes, I agree. So Let's Encrypt is a, it allows you to use HTTPS without any costs involved, so you don't have to buy a certificate. So we'll go ahead and agree to this. This is going to take. Okay, it didn't take that much longer. So now we'll just hit enter here. Now that's done. Okay, now that this is finished, we should be able to go to the website and test it out. So let's go back over here. Type in HTTPS this time. All right, page is up, it's secure, has a secure certificate. So now we want to, I'm going to go in and we need to find out what the password is. So we can get into the portal and make changes to the WordPress website. So I'm going to run a command here to grab the password. All right, and there's our very secure password. Wow. So let's copy that. Okay, and so now that the website's up and running, let's make some changes to it. So let's grab the WAN IP of the website. We can get that here. If we go back to the instance, copy this, and let's open a new tab. WP admin should come up here. All right, so username is user, and then the password that we needed is here. Okay, and then I'm going to log in. All right, so now we're in the admin portal for the WordPress website. So let's go to themes. I want to change the theme to something more interesting. I like the Cento theme, so let's go for that one, the dark one. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so now I can install this theme here. And activate it. And let's go back and refresh our page here, make sure it updated. Okay, perfect. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go back and we'll make a slight change just so we know that the changes are coming through. So I'm going to go to Customize over here. And let's go to Site Identity, and we'll change the title to Tech Help for Nonprofits. And this Lightsail demo. All right. Publish that. Okay, and if we refresh the page, it should come up with our changes. Okay, it took a really long time to load, but here the page, you can see it's been updated with information that we entered earlier. So that is setting up the WordPress website with the DNS changes, and then also securing with this certificate. The next part of this video is going to be creating a content delivery system, or what LightSail calls a distribution. So we're going to navigate away from here, and we're going to go back to the portal in LightSail. So let's go here. We're already in home, so let's go to networking, and we don't have a distribution, so we need to create one. And this distribution, this is actually an underlying service called Cloudfront in Amazon AWS, which allows you to propagate your website all over the world, so it loads super fast. So let's go ahead and create the distribution first. And we don't want it to be in Virginia, we want it to be in Oregon. And we need to choose our instance. And yes, we do want to use the WordPress cache behavior presets, so yes. All right, so I grabbed the IP and the instance. And if you scroll down, you'll see there's different plans you can have here. I'm just going to use the cheapest one for right now, since it's just for testing purposes. And we need to name it, so let's call it WP distro. All right, so we're going to create that. All right, so it's in progress right now. What it's doing is it's propagating the website all over the endpoints at AWS. So we're going to pause the video, wait for that to finish, show enabled. Okay, our distribution has been created. You can see on status right here it says enabled. So now what we need to do is go to the custom domains tab here, and we need to create some certificates. So let's click right here, and we put our domains in again. Okay, and we're going to hit create. And we'll wait for that to finish there. Okay, so we created these validation records here, these CNAME records. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy these and add them to our zone, so these records can be validated and verify that we actually control the domain. And since we already have the prefix in here for the domain, the primary, we don't need this information right here. Let's open up another instance of LightSail so we can copy those records. Now that we have that CNAME record created, let's create the second one. Same thing with this CNAME prefix. We can erase the tech help for nonprofits.org and leave www in there. Now we have the second CNAME record created. Now we'll give it a few minutes to propagate, and then these should come back as validated. Okay, those records have been validated. Now we need to enable custom domains here, so let's do that. You'll notice after I did that, it spit the distribution back in progress, so we'll wait for this to finish. Okay, our distribution's back to enabled after we enabled the custom domains. Now what we need to do is set up WordPress so it sees the distribution. So we need to go back to the instance. And we're going to open up another terminal window here. Now we need to back up the WP config file before we make any changes to it. This way, if we screw up our settings in the PHP file, we can always go back and restore it from backup. Now that we have the backup, we can go in and edit the WP config file. You'll need to hit the insert key so we can actually make the changes that we need to make. Now we need to remove these two lines. And then replace them with two new lines. Now we need to get out of insert mode and save the file. To get out of insert mode, just hit escape. Now we need to restart Apache after we made those changes. Now we can exit out of here and add the CDN records. Before we do that, let's delete these A records. Now we're going to wait for this record to propagate. The last thing we need to do is change the origin. We just scroll down at the bottom here under distro details and click on this button right here and choose HTTPS only and save. Now that we've enabled HTTPS, let's go and check our CNAME records, see if they're active yet. Okay, now our CNAME record is active. Let's go see if we can actually access the site now. Okay, the site's up, but now we need to test and make sure the distribution is working. Look for the header information here. If we look at this file right here, you'll notice down here in Xcache it says hit from Cloudfront, so that means the distribution did work. So this website is now part of the AWS Cloudfront distribution. In this video, we created a WordPress website using AWS Lightsail. We created a HTTPS certificate using Let's Encrypt, and then finally we created a distribution to allow our website to load faster. Hope you found this video helpful. If you would, please hit like and subscribe. Appreciate it. Thank you.